and say your names?
Yeah. I'm Rob.
I'm Tank.
Mike.
I'm Connor.
And you're in what band?
Energy.
Energy, yeah.
How long ago did you guys form?
Less than a year ago.
About 8 months.
Yeah.
How quickly after you formed did you start playing shows?
Almost like immediately.
Yeah.
We came up with a 2-song demo and pretty much just started playing shows.
And how did you get shows? Like, I mean, did you book them yourselves? Like,
Well, our first show was a benefit for our friend that was in jail for a while, and so our friends all set that up. But our friend Chris Mission, who owns Rock Vegas Records, pretty much sets up most of our shows and stuff.
I've been trying to get in touch with Chris actually to interview him for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got his number. I'll give it.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to.
Cool.
So, what is the sort of geography of the Boston hardcore scene today? Like, what is it like?
What is
Alright. Today, I'd say today there's actually a lot of bands playing together. Like a lot of bands that wouldn't normally play together playing together. Like
intergenre shows and
yeah,
stuff.
you could go see Death Before Dishonor and we'd play, or like
and then since we play an even popular band like A Loss for Words would play, or
any
type of
bands can basically come together and play the same show nowadays, and there's a lot of different things going on. Like there's like the pop punk, poppier punk rock stuff, and then there's always the street punk kids, that I don't know that actually is there right now in Boston. I can't think of any like really street punk. Like back in the day, you used to go see like the Unseen and the Casualties would play like a VFW down the street.
The Virus.
Yeah, the Virus, and like recently like
Global Threat.
Yeah, Global Threat. Like
Who don't sound anything like a Global Threat anymore, by the way.
Yeah. Recently they did the Strike Anywhere tour and stuff. We played that show around here, but there's always gonna be the street punk kids and like the anarcho punk kids, and then there's a lot of heavy hardcore bands from Boston now. Brutal metalcore bands that play a lot.
Like DVD and like Since the Flood and stuff like that.
And then there's us and like all our friends' bands, stuff like that, But there's a lot going on in Boston right now.
Yeah.
Is there factionalism like between the different sort of groupings?
Slightly. You don't see it too much. People are pretty open-minded about it.
Yeah, we don't seem to get too much like flack for being like a melodic type band playing heavy shows or anything like that.
I've heard through other people that like outside of shows, people call us like a wimp wannabe hardcore band, but
yeah, all kinds of stuff.
But you gotta expect stuff like that. Everybody, there's always that one kid.
Everybody always has their own opinion,
Yeah.
Internet assholes.
Yeah.
So I think kind of because like it died out in a lot of places for a while, so like a lot of different bands is taking like whatever shows they can get, and like it kind of everybody comes together for.
It really
what
isn't.
they can do.
I don't think there's like that enough bands to have that many shows that aren't intermixed or anything like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you guys still like? What do you guys think about DIY ethics and sort of how does that play itself out in the current Boston scene?
We're definitely we book a lot of our own shows. We're booking our own tour right now.
We booked through Chris's label's pretty much all DIY. We didn't sign any contracts or anything. It was just pretty much him saying, "Hey, I want to put out your CD. I'm just doing you a personal favor," type deal. So we're pretty much all about that. Like
because there's like a lot of bigger clubs and everything that do shows, but the bigger clubs that get the bigger shows are usually like the Fall Out Boy shows, the Newfound Glory shows, stuff like that. And like social distortion plays at like bigger clubs obviously because they're huge and everything, but like a lot of like not kids, like older dudes are doing like Anti-Flags coming through with a bunch of other bands, and it's being set up at a big club, but it's being set up by like a guy that I know, like one of our friends. So it's not like there's nothing DIY going on. Like there's a lot of kids' basements in Alston. The kids are always playing shows in Cambridge Elks Lodge, like always renting out VFWs and Elks halls and all stuff like that, and then Tigers Den in Brockton is basically it's run by Chris, and it's all he does it all himself. Like it's basically, it's him. Like if bands need a show on tour, they'll contact him, or if he wants a certain band that night, he'll say come down and play.
Yeah, there's a lot going on not through booking agents. You can definitely get a good show even if you don't have.
If you don't go through a booking
Yeah.
agent,
So what do you guys think of the earlier Boston hardcore bands? I mean, like SSD, Gangrene, Jerry's Kids.
I was just talking about Gangrene earlier because, like the other night at the Street Dogs show, Mark Doherty was up there, and so I don't know. I'm into a lot of that, like older punk bands and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love all the old bands like Jerry's Kids and Slapshot. Those are the bands that really got me into straight edge, like DYS and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Big influence on our band too. The
So
guitar.
tell me about Boston Straight Edge today.
Some Boston
Different.
straight edge bands. Yeah, this
It's
is
a lot
like
different.
it's Have Heart and it's pretty much.
Yeah, you have
us.
everything. I mean, we're all straight edge. You got bands like Have Heart, kind of like an old school band like that, and then you have like a band like Black My Heart.
I don't think there's too many straight edge bands around though. I don't see any.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's not as big as
It's
it
not
used
as
to be.
popular as it was in like the late '90s with like 10-Yard Fighting in My Eyes and stuff like that.
So what do you think? What are your feelings when you hear people saying that hardcore is basically a joke now and it's over and it's done with and it ended in the early, like in the in the
I
80s?
hate that like the SSD thing where like they're like he's like hardcore died today. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Because it clearly didn't. Anytime there's a kid who's got like a guitar in his basement that starts a band and plays a local VFW show in front of like 10 kids, that's punk and that's hardcore. That's
Yeah.
It's all about who you are and what you want to do with yourself, and like you can still like to this day you can be a hardcore kid or a punk rock kid just depending on how you live your life and the things you want to do and the things you're all about. So it's not like it died. It can't die because there's always going to be kids who are going to be like, oh well, I listen to punk rock bands and I go to punk rock shows and they're living it and they're being it.
I mean, just because like the older bands invented it doesn't mean that it's gonna die when they do. So
That was perfect. Wow. So what are shows like today? I mean, how many people turn out?
Oh, it's so weird how that
yeah,
works.
actually,
Yeah.
You
It's
can
always
play
different.
one show one day and there'll be 40 kids there, and then you could play the exact same show the day after, and maybe 200 kids will show up.
But I mean, do local shows work here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's all-
absolutely. Yes.
yeah,
It's weird because like wherever you go, if you play like if say we would set up a show, we two of us, me and him live in Stoughton. If we were to set up a show in Stoughton, 300 kids would go because their parents will drive them to the local VFW or whatever,
Yeah.
but their parents won't drive them down the street to Brockton. Their parents won't drive them into Boston, and
Out to
like
Worcester
there's
or
a bunch of
something.
younger kids who like so everywhere you go, there will be the younger kids who will go because it's in their hometown, and then there's gonna be like in Boston, it's easily accessible for shows like local small shows, but yeah, I mean everywhere you go, it's just there's gonna be the kids who can't get anywhere else, so they'll go to that show,
Boston has a sort of reputation for being aggressive, and being somewhat violent, but aggressive more than anything. Why do you think that is? And do you think that reputation is true?
I think, so many good bands that have come out of Boston. Like the whole scene's just kind of like
there's a lot
it's
of
more like full fledged. Like you go out other cities, like a big city like New York and Boston, there's good scenes. It's like really hard, but other places like where it's not like a lot of bands don't come from. I don't think it's like that aggressive.
It's like
you know what I mean?
DBD, Death Before Dishonor is like a very heavy, aggressive band. So kind of goes along with the music. I don't know.
I also think it's because just like when there's so many kids like well back in the day when a lot of kids would like always go to shows, and like when there's so many kids doing so many different things at the same time, like they're doing their thing, it's hard not for it to look like aggressive or like be aggressive, like everybody's hitting everybody else, everybody's getting in everybody else's business and stuff.
Yeah, if you go to a show and the room can only hold 100 people and there's 200 kids there, everybody's on top of each other going off for a band. So.
When you guys first got, I mean, it's like, okay, what do your parents think of you guys playing in a band and of your music?
My mom supports me, and so does my dad. My dad's a little less supportive. He wants me to be all over the radio and stuff, but whatever.
No, my parents, I mean, I've been into music. I've been playing music since I was like 13, 14. And they always kind of wanted me to go to college and get a job and stuff. But I think now that I'm in like a more serious band, more serious situation, they're pretty much supporting me. They, let me live at home and stuff and work at a shitty job just so I can do this.
Yeah, my dad's always been supportive and everything, but yeah, I mean, I've been doing it since I was like, I've been trying, to do bands and everything since I was really young.
Yeah, me and him been trying to get a band to work since we were like 13.
So my dad's kind of like, oh yeah, well, what the hell? Why isn't this happening? Like, you're fat, get a job, like, shit like that. Just like, fucking around with me. But like deep down, he's like, well, when is this really gonna happen? He's thinking to himself like, he's supporting me and he's being, really good about it. But at the same time, he's like, well, so if this doesn't work, you're gonna have to do something else.
And yeah, like when I was younger, my mom thought it was kind of just a little phase, and that I'd have to smarten up and get a job and stuff. But now that I'm older and I'm still into it, and she sees that I take it more seriously, she's definitely really supportive now.
Yeah, my parents are definitely probably I'd say the best words are proud. They couldn't really afford to send me to college or anything, so they like obviously felt bad, and now they see this and they see that I'm happy, so definitely supportive.
Why does playing in this band make you happy? All of you.
It's just a release. It's awesome.
It's every kid's dream to be in a band that you don't have to work, you play shows instead.
It's the sincerity behind what I sing about. It's like the energy, no pun intended, but the energy of the music.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, you go to work every day, and you gotta get a show on a Friday or a Saturday. You just let everything go, and I don't know. It's gotta be the best feeling playing live.
Yeah.
To me, I like when I'm playing and everything, I can't really I kind of pay more attention to my drums and everything, but the best thing is when I look out and I see kids enjoying what I'm enjoying, the stuff I'm doing is what they're enjoying and is what they're there to see.
Yeah, never fails to blow my mind when even one kid sings along to a word that I wrote. It's unbelievable.
That's perfect. So is there anything last of the things you'd like to say?
I'd like to say thank you for actually having us be part of this.
Yeah,
This is an awesome thing. I mean, we're obviously younger band. We haven't been around very long, and for you to actually want us to be part of this.
You guys are the youngest band I've interviewed so far.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say one thing is, if there's any kids out there that are thinking about starting a band, do it. Pick up the instruments, learn how to play, start bands, play shows. Just keep it alive.
Yeah,
Not to sound cliche, but.
Yeah, but thank you. I mean, you definitely said a couple of things.
Too many raps.
So,